Hello and welcome to Views from the Sideline. It's July 10th, 2018, and on today's show, we talk Boogie's whereabouts, the new Pelicans, Booker getting paid, and the Melo free agency tour. Let's get into it.
Detroit basketball. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Jam. It's done. I bet. I'm a warrior.
And there you have it. What a way to start the show. Boogie, breaking some news here. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris Pappas, Joey Tysick, Malik Hill. What's up, fellas?
More free agency craziness right after we left the show last week.
Yeah,
Almost right after.
perfect timing, Boogie.
I'm ready to see Carmelo Anthony in a Houston uniform. Just hurry it up. Just hurry it up.
I want to
already.
see him in a Laker
We know what's
uniform.
gonna happen. He's going to Houston.
I think so too, but I want to see him in a Laker uniform.
I think that would be horrible.
I just think it would be fun to see LeBron and Melo on the same. Like, they're not going to win.
I don't want to
anything
see
this year.
I don't want to see them have a love fest on the bench where they're losing by 20.
LeBron, Melo, Lance Stevenson,
Yes, that
JaVale
would be-
McGee.
They're down by 25,
Crew.
cracking jokes like, ah.
That's right. I mean, first of all, LeBron would never be cracking jokes.
If Carmelo
He's
was
down
there,
to-
he would.
I don't know.
If
I don't
Carmelo
know.
was there, he would.
So yeah, we got some stuff to talk about today, guys. Joey, you had a list of kind of like free agency moves, little quieter free agency moves. You want to go through that real quick?
Well, Kyle Anderson got rid of from the Spurs.
Yeah,
and
4 years, 37 mil.
ended up
Memphis
signing with
Grizzly.
Memphis. The Lakers, we missed out. It was like right after we left. The Lakers signed Rajon Rondo to a 2-year deal, or was it 1-year deal? $9 million.
Yeah, 1 year, 9 mil.
1 year, $9 million.
Could mean Lonzo's gone.
Possibly.
I hope not.
Or he's going to be a
hope not.
mentor.
That's what everybody's saying.
So then the Pelicans responded by taking up Julius Randle, which I think was a great signing for New
Fantastic
Orleans.
move.
That was amazing. My man Tyreek Evans is to the Pacers, along with Kyle O'Quinn. Dwight Howard and Jeff Green are both headed to the Washington Wizards. Tony Parker is going to the Charlotte Hornets.
That was a shocker.
Huge shocker.
Mm-hmm.
I would have. If I'm Tony, I'm retiring. I'm not moving from San Antonio.
Although because he's familiar with the coach.
Yeah.
He knows
Yeah,
him.
that's true.
Yeah.
Brick Lopez is with the Milwaukee Bucks, which I think is kind of a sneaky pickup actually for them.
No, that was a fantastic pickup for the amount of money.
Joseph Nurkic re-signed with Portland. Zach LaVine, in some controversy, was given an offer sheet by the Sacramento Kings,
He was almost a Sacramento Queen.
which was then matched by the Bulls, and there's a little bit of controversy about that. So we will go into that. But the biggest one of all, DeMarcus Cousins, like we said at the top of the show, is now a Golden State Warrior for a 1-year veterans minimum.
Is it the vet minimum, or I thought it was 5.3 mil? I thought it was like that
Oh, yeah,
mid-level.
it's 5.3,
Yeah.
so it's a mid-level.
But
So
now I hate to, we're
Either
gonna
way.
we're gonna get into this right now. But some Woj breaking news into the studio here. I guess even though Oklahoma City hasn't officially released Carmelo yet, they've given him permission to talk to certain teams. I guess he met with Houston and Miami today in Vegas, and the meetings have already taken place. And I was saying I want him in LA, but if he only met with Houston and Miami today, that doesn't bode well for the
Right.
Lakerland.
and
Uh,
I assume those are for possible trade options.
I think they're just gonna do honestly like a
I don't-
buyout. I'm
Does Houston have enough money to do that?
to sign him. Like, if they buy him out, he can sign for the vet minimum. Essentially, I mean,
Does he do that?
if they buy him out of his contract, it depends on how much money he'll be
Yeah.
taking home.
I'm just curious. There's a lot of different
No,
scenarios.
yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff we got to keep an eye out for. But yeah, let's jump right back into the Boogie stuff. That was an absolute shocker. That was one of those. So I have like tweet notifications that come on when Shams or Woj tweet. And I got a Shams notification that Boogie signed with the Warriors, and I still had to double check to make sure it was actually Shams because it was so preposterous. I did not think and there was any chance that he would sign with the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
To me, that was I understand you're coming off an Achilles tear,
To
and
me,
there
that-
wasn't a market for him, but such a weak move as a basketball player.
I don't think so.
Why?
I mean, so apparently originally when he first signed was that the first thought was that nobody wanted him, nobody was offered him anything. Then it comes out later that New Orleans and LA both offered him a 2-year deal around 10 million, I believe, or something like that. It was still under of what he wanted. And so basically this was like a slap in the face to the rest of the league and just
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, I'm going to prove you guys wrong, that I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to get good. I'm just going to have a fun time and go to Golden State."
It's just, but
The man
There-
played for Sacramento
okay, but
for a long time.
there was an opportunity during the season. After the Achilles tear, the New Orleans Pelicans offered him a 2-year, $40 million extension.
Right.
He declined that. So I understand he didn't have any offers on the table now in free agency, but to say he had no offers at all is that's false.
Right. No, I agree with that. No, that's what I'm saying. Like even during the offseason, it was originally thought that he didn't have any deals, but he did.
Yes.
They were just under what he thought he was worth.
It's still a weak move to me. I can't get over it. You're going to sign with the Warriors after last year, Boogie and KD got into it, I think both times they played in Sacramento, and Boogie just called him soft, called him whatever he wanted to say because he joined the Warriors, joined a team that's going to get a ring, when he just did the same exact thing. To me, practice what you preach, Boogie. It's a weak move. I lost respect for DeMarcus Cousins.
Well, that's one reason why, to me, it's an interesting story and it's kind of crazy, but I don't think it's as crazy as people think it is. First of all, players say one thing and do the other all the time, so I'm not surprised at all
Right.
that even DeMarcus Cousins, who everybody thinks is one of the realest NBA players,
He's not.
and was extremely loyal. Of course, somebody wants to go to Golden State and play, even no matter how much stuff you want to talk about Golden State. Once you get injured, and apparently since nobody wants you, if Golden State is a door that opens, of course you want to go there. So
I mean,
first of all, that's the first thing.
yeah, it's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah, and then I just lost track of my other point.
We'll get back
You
to
can
it.
go.
You'll find it.
One of the big things too that I thought is that a lot of people were saying, "Hey, why wouldn't you want to stay in New Orleans when Anthony Davis wore your jersey during the All-Star
Yeah,
game?"
that was.
in like a respect, saying, "Hey, we're in it for the long haul." And I loved that. I thought that was cool. I thought it meant that he was going to be a Pelican. And then I assume that he didn't take the extension because he still felt that he was going to get a big deal in the summer and that he could get it. And then when nothing came up and the Pelicans signed Julius Randle before.
Once that happened, I knew he was going.
So once they signed Julius Randle, you knew something was up. And I'm sure at that point he knew as well that he wasn't going to get a different offer from the Pelicans, that he wasn't going to be able to try to make any bargain moves or anything like that. So that's when I think it set in. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go have some fun. I'm going to prove that I'm healthy. And it's a 1-year deal, and he might play half the season.
And to be fair, too, Golden State doesn't have the financial capability to keep him past this year for how much he's going to get paid if he truly is healthy at the end of this year.
But the other thing that, too, is interesting is that next year, Klay Thompson is also a free agent.
They'll have some
There is-
decision making.
Although Klay Thompson has said time and time again he doesn't want to go anywhere else. He wants to be a Warrior for his career because he has so much fun there. You never know what happens when somebody puts money in front of you and they say, "Hey, we got LeBron in LA. Your dad used to play for the Lakers. Would you come play with us?" You never know. So that gives the Warriors, it's an amazing move for them, obviously, but it gives them like a back burner option that they can be like, "Hey, if Klay walks, we have DeMarcus Cousins."
Yeah.
But, it's just like a safety net, I think, for them. And then for DeMarcus, it's just another way to show his potential, be like, "Hey, I helped this Warriors team that's already good, and I made them even better," potentially.
I mean, a lot of
And
the issue,
then-
too, sorry to cut you off, but a lot of the issue, too, with Boogie is how he is in the locker room.
Right.
And like I think you're going to allude to, if he can make nice with the Warriors and put that under his belt as a good teammate again,
Right.
I heard that was part of the reason why he wasn't getting many offers because they don't want
Yeah, I heard that too.
Boogie in their locker room. So if he can play nice with the Warriors for 1 year, that'll help his stock. Like you're saying.
especially under an organization that does everything right.
Yeah.
Their coaching staff is perfect. They play basketball all the right ways. They move the ball. They're fun to watch, even though people hate them. They do it the right way, and I think if he can prove that he can play in that system, I think it's really important to his career going forward, and especially next summer where free agency is going to be crazier than this year.
I mean, I'm not sure if you can top crazier than this year just because LeBron left. I mean, whenever LeBron moves, it's a crazy summer. But yeah, there's a lot of big market free agents coming onto the market next year. Another thing that I think fans kind of forget about a little bit, myself included, even though I still think it's a weak move, Boogie's not going to be healthy by training camp. He's not. He's saying that he's not going to be. It's a torn
Right.
Achilles. That's
And they
the
won't-
biggest injury in basketball.
They won't risk it either. Even if he is and he feels that he can play, they as an organization will say no. We're gonna wait and make sure that you are 100%.
Exactly. And big men who have had this injury have not bounced back. This ended Elton Brand's career. It shifted Antonio McDyess's career. We're not going to get the same. It's very possible we don't get the same Boogie.
The only person that, and they've brought it up multiple times now, the only person that's ever come back from this injury and that has been potentially better is Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, top 20 player of all
Which is
time.
insane because he played in the 80s and relied off of athleticism.
Yeah.
Right. And that was his game.
DeMarcus Cousins doesn't rely on athleticism. He's not very quick or fast. He's just straight
Exactly.
skill.
Exactly.
So I think the skill will be there. If he's healthy, he can't jump very high. He doesn't go very fast. He has all the skill.
Yeah, but that's gonna also play like he might be even slower than what he was. He's not gonna jump as high as he was, and he wasn't jumping high before.
I think maybe at first, but I think he's gonna recover from this fully.
We'll see. Well, it's a wait and see game. But also with Boogie, that he's not gonna be very influential into the Warriors this year. People like the common NBA fan is like, "Oh, this season's over. Why are we even playing? The NBA is fixed."
That was my other reason why I thought it wasn't so interesting. He's there for 1 year.
He's there for 1 year.
He won't play for most of the season.
Exactly.
He could be gone.
And
But he will
just
be
like
with
that.
them in the time when he's needed.
Yeah.
but we're not sure how his
In the
recovery will be.
playoffs.
So
It
we
could
don't.
be.
He
It
might.
could honestly be one of the most forgetful playoff runs ever.
I'm pretty
In a
sure.
few years, we'll probably forget Boogie was on the Warriors. That
But
time
no
they won the
matter what,
championship.
the other thing you got to think of too is that you basically traded DeMarcus Cousins for JaVale McGee. If DeMarcus Cousins comes
Yeah.
back healthy and is
Oh.
anywhere near his potential, he'll be levels above JaVale McGee. So just that upgrade there itself is amazing. If he's 100% or even 90%, the Warriors can play a 5-out offense that no other team in the league can do because of the way DeMarcus Cousins has improved his shot over the years. And to be able to play a 5-out with an actual big man is insane to me. So basically it just bolsters their playoff run, maybe. And if they don't, if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't hurt them at all. They're a team that's going to be fine no matter what. But, you know, if Houston comes back just as strong as they were this year, it gives them
They're
that
not
leg
going
up.
to. They're not going to be as strong as
if the Warriors losing the playoffs,
I think Houston. I think
I
Houston took
can't
a
imagine.
huge blow this year.
why? Because of Trevor
Trevor
Ariza?
Ariza, they lost Luka Bahamute. Those are two strong perimeter players.
I think having PJ Tucker and signing Carmelo.
Yeah, but
will
PJ
be all
can't.
right.
But PJ can't play 48 minutes. Is the issue, and they play PJ. At
They
the
have
4.
Gerald Green too.
Gerald Green plays no defense. PJ
Well.
Tucker's a locked up defender. But PJ is also old and can't play as many minutes. Trevor Ariza was a good safety net. Yeah, he was streaky shooting the ball, but he's long, he's athletic. First team all defensive player back when he played with the Lakers. I think it's gonna hurt him. Yeah, they might sign Carmelo. They likely will. Melo gives you nothing on the defensive side of the ball.
Because
he doesn't.
because D'Antoni is the coach, I'll have to
He-
back you on that one.
Okay, all right.
I'll
thank you, thank you.
definitely have to back you on that
But-
one. Carmelo isn't going to make things any. It's going to be him and James Harden pointing at each other, looking at the dude dunking. Like,
I know.
it's going to be that all season.
To
But
me-
they're going to score a lot.
For sure. Yeah. And to me, this summer just made the Warriors have an easier path to the championship because Houston was their biggest contender, lost 2 big guys, big name players. Lakers are solid now, but I mean, we're not going to say they're championship caliber yet with Rondo, Lance Stevenson, and JaVale McGee.
Not close. Not even close.
But there's no other team really. San Antonio's on the decline.
The
New Orleans,
Celtics.
but I'm talking before they get to the finals in the Western
Oh, okay.
Conference.
Yeah, the Western Conference.
They got weaker outside of the Lakers.
Potentially.
I think New Orleans got better. I do think New Orleans got better.
I don't know if they got better, but
I think the Nuggets will have a better season.
I think
just because of
just
that
building.
nucleus is staying
the
together.
Pelicans really stabilized well, which as a Pelicans fan I really enjoyed. They lost Rondo, which is their biggest hit of
That
the
was huge,
offseason.
yeah.
But getting in, hey, they got Alfred Payton, my guy.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how things work? So I think he can fit into the
And a Rondo clone.
right.
A baby semi-Rondo.
Right, a little bit. Like, hey, the biggest thing in the offseason for Alfred Payton, he cut his hair.
He cut his hair.
He may be able to see the basket now.
He might lose his talent like Space Jam now. I think
I think he's going to be able to shoot now.
He's more
He'll be able to see
aerodynamic.
the basket.
The ball won't hit his hair.
Yeah. And Julius Randle is going to fit in really well with that
I like
team.
that 3 forward rotation they have with
Mirotic, Randall, and Davis. That's
Yeah.
that 3-4-5.
And Randall's just that tough,
He's going to be that
hard-nosed
6
guy.
man too. He's going to be a 6 man. I think they'll definitely stick with Mirotic next to AD. I think it just
Yeah, I
fits
think
well.
it works. I think that's the chemistry they're used to at this point, even
Yeah.
too. So that'll be interesting.
Pelicans could surprise people. They could be as
I
high
think
as a
so.
4 seed.
Yeah.
Nuggets will be there too.
Yeah.
If they can get their chemistry right, and Michael Porter Jr. is healthy somewhat, and Paul Millsap has to stay healthy.
Honestly, I'm not even worried about Michael Porter Jr. this year. Without him playing a game, I think Denver is a better team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just based on Gary Harris getting better, Jokic getting better, all those young guys. One team that I think should be on watch for next year for a steep decline, the Minnesota Timberwolves. A lot of stuff coming out about
Jimmy
Minnesota.
Butler doesn't
Jimmy
like
Butler, yep.
Calling out his young guys.
Calling out Big Cat, A. Wiggins. It's not looking good in Minnesota, Joe. What were we hearing about Jimmy Butler?
He's upset. He doesn't like the way that his young guys play. He feels like they don't care, which I think a lot of us
Didn't he
have
say he
seen.
feels like they're childish?
Yeah, which a lot of us have seen
Carl
out of
Anthony
Andrew.
Towns is 20, isn't he?
Andrew Wiggins, I
Yeah.
think we've seen that out of him, that he's never really developed into the player everybody thought he would be.
Yeah.
Carl Anthony Towns is a little bit of a surprise, I guess. I think,
I thought he would take it more seriously.
yeah, like Malik said, he's a little bit young. Maybe he's getting a little too much of the spotlight, being kind of the star in
Because
Minnesota.
of how good he is, I'd still stick with him because
Right.
Oh, yeah, of course.
could like 25 points, 13 rebounds again. Like he's a beyond big time
Yeah.
player.
Honestly, if I'm picking between Cat and Jimmy Butler, I'm trading Jimmy Butler.
You
I
have
think
to
you
keep
just-
Cat. You have to.
Well, you go with youth in the league.
Yeah.
So,
That
but
plays a role.
right now, Jimmy Butler has been talking,
They might as well trade him. Get
supposedly
something for him.
supposedly talking with Kyrie Irving to
Team
hopefully
up.
team up
New
next year,
York.
and they want to go to the big
Knicks.
city.
You guys think it's New York?
I would
Why don't
enjoy.
they team up in
I would
Boston?
enjoy seeing them both in New York.
I would too, because I,
really
would like to
would.
see the demise of the Boston Celtics. I'm just a Pistons fan, though.
I think it'd be cool to see the Knicks kind of rise up again.
Same here. I mean, the Knicks have been so bad for so long. They had that one good, solid year. Jason Kidd running the point. You had Kenyon Martin down at center.
JR
won 50
won
games.
6 man of the year.
JR won 6 man of the year.
That's how weird that year was.
That year was fantastic. That was the year Paul George took that next step.
The
They
year
met-
of Linsanity was pretty great.
That was fun too. Jeremy Lin got paid that
That was,
summer
that was
too.
a fun time. Carmelo got close a couple times, but they just never could really figure it out.
That was really the middle of the sad boy era for the Pistons. We had Brandon Knight starting, Ronnie Stuckey, Charlie V. We had the good guys.
I
We
think
had
the
the good old days.
I think the fact that they couldn't figure out Amari and Carmelo together.
yeah, that was
That's
a bummer.
what killed them.
Yeah, I
Because
think
that could have been one of the most dominant duos of this generation.
Honestly, I wonder.
And Amari was hurt too.
Yeah,
right,
I
that was
wonder
his big
how
decline.
New York basketball would have turned out in the future if they don't make that Carmelo trade. You have Raymond Felton, who was playing at an all-star level to start the season. Amari Stoudemire was an all-star. Gallinari's coming into his own. Wilson Chandler was playing well. Landry Fields. People forget about Landry Fields, but he was a second-team all-rookie player.
Didn't they traded Gallinari for Carmelo, didn't
Yep,
they?
Gallinari, Wilson Chandler was all in the deal. It just, I wonder if that team could have been something, you know?
Imagine if
chemistry.
just David Lee stayed with the Knicks.
Yeah.
He
David
made it
Lee
all.
too.
He made an all-star team in New York and then just dipped
Yeah.
to Golden State,
Yeah.
which was a great decision. Smart man.
We could do a whole show about what ifs.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like a what ifs in the NBA. That'd
Yeah.
be fun. That would be fun.
The whole storyline, ESPN has done a lot of stuff recently around the whole Carmelo era and what he's done to like the whole NBA dynamic. It's really interesting. Just from going from the Nuggets to
Yeah.
the Knicks and that big giant trade, and then
And then not going to
And
Chicago because you don't want to really win.
and how he
Because Phil is going to get us there.
actually probably should have won Rookie of the Year over LeBron James.
His numbers,
Joey,
his
Joey,
scoring
Joey.
numbers were better.
Joey
And
was
his
hot.
rebounding.
LeBron was the overall better
His
player.
scoring, rebounding, and shooting percentages, and his team's record were all higher.
His
Joey
team
LeBron's.
record was higher?
Yeah,
Joey's with the
The-
hot takes.
that
today.
year LeBron and the Cavs finished
I thought they were
35,
on the
35 and 47 or something.
All I gotta say is good thing the Pistons got Darko. Good thing we got Darko.
Because we
Can't
won a
say that.
championship.
Hey, we don't win that championship without Darko.
I was discussing
Maybe.
this the other day with one of my cousins, but that's a long conversation. If we drafted Carmelo instead, that was a long conversation.
That
We've talked about it before,
yeah,
though,
we've
too.
talked about it too. I mean, it's possible they don't win the championship just
I
because
said
you don't see them.
they may not have gotten Rashid.
Yeah,
but
that's always my biggest
they
argument.
were already They already had decided like right after the draft they were going to get him because Rashid only played one game with the Hawks and then got traded. So
Well, that was 'cause
still probably would have been here.
There was like Rashid got traded like twice in between,
In, like, a
within
few
a couple
days.
days leading up to that trade
he went from the
deadline.
Blazers to the Hawks and the Hawks to the
Yeah,
Pistons.
yep. But yeah, another thing I want to talk about too. Stuff going on in Phoenix. They signed Trevor Ariza, got a new head coach, Igor Korkoslov, and they got their big man DeAndre Ayton, who honestly I think is having a subpar summer league.
Yeah,
He's
he
not
looked good. What was it, last night?
Yeah,
Had
but
a
he's a
double-double?
To me, I don't think.
All he has to do is show flashes to me, and
I don't
I
know,
see it.
man.
21 and 12 your first game, barely doing anything. 17 and 13 last night, barely. He's barely doing anything, and he's putting up these
scaring
numbers.
me, Malik. Malik, all I can say is I see a little hint of bust on the back of his jersey.
Isn't it kind
I
of
mean,
funny
it's
that
possible, but I think he's too talented.
Once Luka Doncic gets on that court, man,
What center has
Luka.
that type of size and talent?
Mo Bamba,
Since
better talent.
ooh,
are you
oh, Chris is changing sides.
Chris is coming out with the fake hot takes because Mo Bamba is not more talented
Come to
right
the light
now.
side, Chris.
I think he just wants to start controversy.
Mo Bamba, like he might not
Mo's
be more
looking
talented.
good.
He's not. He might.
Mo has great promise.
He's probably not more talented right now, but
He could be possibly. Who knows?
he could be down the line. He's building that jump shot. We saw him with the dream shake last night. If anybody saw that, that looked fantastic.
Couple blocks on Jaren Jackson.
Couple blocks. Was it Jaren or Josh Jackson?
I'm not
Jackson.
impressed
He
that
had
he can block
one
shots.
right off the beginning of Jaren Jackson.
The one thing Mo Bamba better do is block shots, so I'm not impressed.
Jaren Jackson's in Memphis.
I know. They played each other the other night.
Yeah, they did.
I thought it was Orlando.
That's the one
I thought it
bad
was
game
Orlando.
Jaren Jackson had too.
I thought it was Orlando Phoenix last night.
Well, I'm not talking about last
Oh,
night's
okay,
game.
Okay. Sorry, I digress.
Mo Bamba
But-
didn't look good in last night's game.
Yeah,
That's much.
the dream shake looked nice though. I want to talk about Phoenix though because there was some controversy whether Devin Booker would get his max extension, would sign it because of the release of one of his best friends, Tyler Eulis, and how it was done. He signed the contract. He's getting paid.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's
he
money.
knows the team is probably going to be a few wins better,
If
even
Malik-
without his friends.
Malik, if I told you sign this piece of paper right here, you get $158 million. You're signing that paper, right?
Plus Mikal Bridges, plus DeAndre Ayton, plus
I'm not
Trevor
even talking
Ariza.
about that. I'll tell you, you're going to play by yourself. You get $158 million. I'm taking I'm signing
Probably,
that
but
contract.
I'll regret it at some point.
If I'm
Not when I'm in the Bahamas after my career's done.
if I take myself 4 years ago when I'm 21 and somebody says, "Hey, you want to play basketball and make $158 million? Just sign right here." Yeah, I'm doing it.
It's a
immediately.
no-brainer.
I don't care who I'm playing
No.
for.
I'm happy for Devin.
He
Kind of hurts.
deserve- I think he deserves
Oh
it.
yeah, I think he does too. He's one of the rising stars in this league, and if it wasn't for how dominant the Western Conference is personnel-wise, he could be in that All-Star conversation. from last year.
I didn't notice how his averages improved over his
Big
first
time.
year. 13 points a game his first year, 23 the next year, and then I think 25 last year. Plus a 70-point game that nobody
70
thinks
points. That
about.
was ridiculous.
The most forgettable 70-pointer of
Yeah,
all
I mean, it
time.
was a little bit,
I
but
won't
I mean,
He got buckets.
but I mean, you still gotta make the shots.
Don't knock on the kid from Grand Rapids, all right?
I won't.
but-
Pistons had a chance to
Yeah,
get.
that's what I was gonna say. It's like a knife in the heart a little bit.
I thought he was going to
saying
be a
that.
bust. I thought Devin Booker had no chance.
See, I didn't like Justice Winslow coming into that draft. I loved
Yeah.
Stanley Johnson. That was my guy.
Everybody
I was with
everybody was
Joey.
in on Justice
I-
for some reason.
I remember I was with Joey during
Yeah,
that
we were
draft.
at the Palace.
We were at the Palace for the draft, and
I like the Stanley pick. when he
I
went there.
I was so happy when Stanley got picked because I know Booker was right behind Johnson. Justice Winslow wasn't even in their top 10, which I thought was very interesting. I think it was Devin Booker was 9.
They did
and
one
then-
thing right. 'cause
Yeah.
Justice.
No,
he
he-
might have looked. He would have looked a lot worse here.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. He's looking somewhat decent when Dwayne Wade's there to mentor him, but when Dwayne Wade's gone, he's not there.
He's
absent.
a defensive specialist that slashes sometimes.
That's the best way to describe him. I like that description. But you guys are both in agreement that that was the right move for Phoenix. You got to lock
Definitely.
up Devin
Oh, yeah.
Booker
Had to.
long term.
I keep saying it over and over too, though. I think the Suns are right there. They're really close
You
to
think?
being good. I think so.
I think
Obviously,
in a couple years.
They
No,
can,
no, no,
They can
I-
hit 35 wins.
I don't think it's going to be this year or anything, and I don't think it's going to be next year.
Next
I just
year
think
I think
they're
they
on
can
the
hit
right
between
track.
35 and 40.
They're one of the youngest teams in the league, and they got a lot of talent coming up, and I think they've made a lot of good moves. So I think they can slowly start pushing to look like they're going to compete.
I think they're timing out their rebuild very well too.
Right.
With how the Warriors are competing right now, kind of matching up timelines with when the Warriors will have to pay their big guys and when their big time players are going to have to get paid. Devin Booker's going to be reaching his prime. DeAndre Ayton's probably getting into
in
a second.
in 4 years.
Yeah.
Most of them will be in their prime. What you're
DeAndre
saying.
Ayton's going to be signing that post rookie scale extension. Same with they have some good young guys too. Elio Kobo, the kid from France. I think he's going to
He
be
has
a
a lot of
decent player.
promise.
Yeah, he's
He
got
could
a
be a
lot of
good backup.
promise. Plus, they have money. Their financials are very well in place to put themselves in positions to sign a big time point guard down the line. Maybe a Kemba Walker next year. It's possible to fit him next to Devin Booker. You got DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, who's going to be a star in this league. That dude can flat out shoot the ball. Today's NBA is perfect for him.
He's a glue piece. He'll be the most important player on his team, like everywhere he goes.
And I love bringing in Trevor Ariza to kind of mentor these young guys. That's what they need. They need a good veteran to show them the ropes.
The only
show 'em the way to
interesting
success.
thing, and I guess it fits into this NBA, is that they can play four, but they have a lot of like standard threes where they have TJ Warren, Josh Jackson, Mikal Bridges, Trevor Ariza now. I know, they can kind of
they
swap
play
them.
TJ at the 4.
Yeah, they played TJ at the 4 before. It's just a little bit interesting, I guess, for their rotation. I'm curious of how that'll work.
And you got to throw in,
because all four of those guys are really good players.
yeah. And you also got to throw in Dragon Bender. I'm not a fan of him. I
I
think
was
he's a
about.
bust.
I don't
but,
think he's going to be a part of that future.
But
Dragon, if he's not making shots, he's kind of.
he hasn't put on any weight since he got drafted, which I think is the biggest part. And he's an inconsistent shooter.
To me, he's confident with no game, which is not good at all.
No,
he dribbles the ball up the court every other possession. Like, Dragon, what are you doing?
I think this is his last chance to show Phoenix that he's part of this group. We'll see. I'm excited for them. I think 2 years from now they'll be competing for a playoff spot. I don't think I expect anything from them this year though. Let's get into it. I want to talk Carmelo stuff.
Okay.
I think we need to talk about Carmelo. Woj tweeted that he met with Miami and Houston today. I think the Lakers are still a dark horse possibility. Also, Woj did clarify in a tweet coming after the previous one that it seems to be trade ideas. So you were right on that, saying that it sounded more like a trade rather than a buyout, and that
Right.
seems to be the case right now. I think the biggest thing is getting opposing teams to take back contracts like Orion Anderson. He's going to have to be involved. He's the only big time money that they have on their books that they are okay to move. If you're Miami, why do you do this?
You don't.
Yeah, I don't
That's
see.
the-
I don't see
You don't
it.
do it.
I don't see the reason for Miami either. It doesn't make any sense. You'll have a old Dwayne Wade and aging Carmelo with like a group of pretty young, promising guys coming up, like Adebayo and all those.
That would be very Miami of them, just to sell tickets. We have Carmelo and Dwayne Wade.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's a very fair point, but
Yeah, as a basketball move in an organization, I don't
I don't
see
understand
how
good.
he would help
Pat
their
Riley
team.
won't let that happen.
And they're not. I don't see Miami as being that team that could break out this year if they got Carmelo.
There'll probably be another 7 seed.
I think they need to trade Hassan Whiteside too. I think that's
he has to go.
Yeah, that
Hassan
doesn't
has
seem
to.
to be working out after last year.
I honestly think a team would trade for him and be excited to get him because of the promise he has. But I don't think he has heart. He doesn't
Yeah.
have the intangibles.
no, he doesn't.
That's why I still
once
feel
he got that money, he stopped trying.
That 76ers series was pitiful.
That's why I still feel like OKC's best option is just to stretch him
I agree with you.
and have him walk and see what he can get, because then he can go to whoever he wants, basically,
Yeah,
as long as he's willing to.
and then
Make
you're not
minimal.
you're not taking back bad contracts.
Right.
I mean, unless you're OKC trying to get more talents on your roster, then I
Right.
understand that.
Which I think they're not. OKC is definitely trying to free up space so that they can sign somebody next year.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they can. They have the largest tax bill in the NBA.
Yeah,
They're
but
gonna
just,
pay $300 million in tax money,
but
Joey.
just getting rid of Carmelo changes their whole dynamic of their salaries
Very
by a
true.
lot. So this is like a big important step for them.
If I was Miami, though, I would go for a full, maybe not a rebuild, but give the keys to your young guys. Let Josh Richardson be the guy playing most of your minutes. Tyler Johnson. Bam Adebayo needs to play big-time minutes.
Bam Adebayo is the.
I mean, I'm fine.
He's going to be the guy very soon.
Derrick Jones Jr. looking to get a roster spot.
I'm okay with Dwayne Wade being there. But when you add Carmelo into the mix, that gets excessive. You don't need Carmelo Anthony with this group.
Then you won't play Justice Winslow that much, and he plays great defense.
You need to see what you got in Justice Winslow.
Yeah.
This is probably his last shot. Same with Stanley Johnson in Detroit. This is his last shot, and you got to see what you can get with him. Couple other guys I want to talk about. Dwight Howard in Washington. He got the buyout from
big
Brooklyn.
move.
Great pickup.
Honestly, a big move.
I think it's indifferent.
Him and Jeff Green.
I think Jeff Green's a bigger pickup than Dwight
Great
Howard.
pickup.
Dwight Howard's a
Disagree, but I see your point.
For that team, Dwight is exactly
Last year-
the player they need.
last year player to player comparison. I'd rather have Marcin Gortat. He's a better player
Then
Marcin-
Dwight
than
Howard?
Dwight Howard.
No. Get out of here.
Did you watch last year?
You can leave
Dwight
the
Howard
show.
averaged 16 and 12.
You can
On a
leave the
terrible
show.
team.
He played great. He
Well,
played.
Well, how many
every
how
time
many
I-
games they win last
Every
year?
time I looked up, he was having 20 and 15 games.
Dwight Howard's not that game changer anymore where
He's-
he can carry a team, but he is
What
a
did you think he was going to do in
great-
Charlotte?
great player.
If he was the Dwight Howard of past, he'd actually lead them to
He
victories.
wasn't the
which
Dwight
he's not.
Howard of pass.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
He doesn't have to be the Dwight Howard of pass to be better than
Exactly.
Marcin Gortat.
He's not better than Marcin
What
Gortat.
has Gortat done for his team?
He led them to the playoffs.
He did not
He
lead
led-
them. They have
Okay.
Bradley Beal and John Wall, and you're saying
No,
that
no, he didn't
Marcin
lead.
Gortat
Let
led
me
his.
preface.
That's what you just said. You said he's leading the Washington
Chris, you are
Wizards.
digging a hole.
Hold on.
you are
Hold
digging
on.
a deep
Hold
hole.
on. Hold on. Let me try to dig
Marcin
myself
Gortat.
out here. No.
Hashtag Marcin Gortat led the Wizards to the playoffs.
But
We got to put that on Twitter.
Wow.
John Wall missed a good chunk of the season. So did Beal.
Otto Porter stepped up. Kelly Oubre stepped
Otto
up.
Porter was the person that
Gortat
really
played. You're gonna tell me
them
Gortat
two.
didn't play well?
He
Yeah,
played. He played
well.
like Gortat,
He plays his
Okay,
role.
Dwight Howard's gonna play his role in Washington. It's the
which
Gortat
is a better
role.
role than Gortat.
You don't think he'll do more?
No,
Dwight can catch
No.
lobs.
He
Dwight,
might- he
Dwight
might-
can play better defense. He can rebound more.
he might play. He might fill the stat sheet a little bit more than Gortat because
Which will-
he's
it'll be
ball,
more of an
because he's
impact.
ball. No, because he's ball dominant and wants to get his shots
He's
up.
not ball dominant.
Yes, he is.
I think last
he's
year.
a straight up ball.
I think
hog.
last year.
No, I think he got rid of that.
I think last year he accepted that he
Yeah,
is
let me
what
see-
he is.
Yeah, we'll see Dwight Howard shooting those mid-range jump shots next year in Washington.
Was he hitting them?
No, he was not.
Well, he won't get him in Washington.
Yes, he will.
No,
He
you
will.
won't. You think John Wall of all people is going to pass the ball? to him for a
Guarantee you,
mid-range
Dwight Howard
shot?
shoots like 2 mid-range
John
shots
Wall, Dwight Howard
it
combo
falls, who
is
cares?
10 times better than John Wall
Yes.
and Gortat.
a game. The Polish hammer? No.
To
Give
be
me
able to
Polish-
run the floor
give me
and
the
just
Polish
throw
hammer.
oops, it's going to be a mini lob city out there.
Stop it. Washington wins 40 games if they're lucky. John Wall's gonna be injured again next year. Beal
Okay,
will
then
probably
that's
get
not
injured.
Dwight Howard's fault.
Dwight Howard will be injured too.
That's not his fault.
He
If-
wasn't injured.
If his teammates get injured, what are we talking about?
Great.
Can we move on, please?
You guys
Yeah.
have
The Wizards are going to be better.
no, they're
Oh,
not.
man.
No, they're not.
They're not going to like increase their wins like a boatload, but they're going to be a better team overall.
They're a 6 to 8 seed at best.
Dwight Howard has been humbled.
Stop it.
He got
Dude.
kicked out of his hometown. He thought he would stay in Atlanta.
Chris,
they kicked him to the
Let's
curb.
let's just move
Yeah,
on.
If Atlanta kicks him to the curb, what does that say about him?
He had to rebuild himself in Charlotte.
He signed for $5 million. Oh, his market's really good right now. He signed for $5 million because no one wants
That's
him.
because Dwight knows
Because nobody wants him.
This is the perfect position.
He's like
for him.
Boogie. No one wants him in his locker room. Kemba did not like him.
This is the
That's a
perfect
fact.
position for
Dwight
Dwight
Howard
That's a
had to
fact.
prove himself everywhere he goes. So
This is a perfect decision for him.
okay, and moving on.
I want to talk more
Because this goes into my whole topic of I think the East is everybody in the East in those top 8 seeds, top 9 seeds, if you want to include the Pistons, are trying to make their rosters better now that
Washington
LeBron is
didn't.
out.
You
just said that
you
Jeff
said Jeff
Green
Green
was
was
a
a
good
great
pickup.
signing.
it was a good signing.
So they got Dwight Howard and Jeff Green. Even
Dwight
if,
Howard's indifferent.
even if
That
you
does
think
nothing.
that Dwight Howard is
Oh, Jesus.
worse than Gortat, they got Dwight Howard and Jeff Green. So that's a win. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk about the Pacers. A lot of people are starting to put the Pacers potentially top 4, top 3 if the whole Toronto thing just kind of falls apart. What do you guys think of the Pacers?
Well, I mean, if Toronto is there, they're part of the top 3. But who's your 4th? I'd say Indiana's 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If
Would you
If
say
Toronto
Milwaukee,
falls
Milwaukee
apart-
or
I don't
Indiana?
think they have to fall apart
Can
for Indiana.
the Pacers move up into 3?
Into 3. I think they could contend for 3 this year because I'm not sure. I'm solely convinced on Nick Nurse's philosophies in Toronto. A first-year
So-
coach with a veteran team.
So
it
for
doesn't
everybody listening in, the Pacers signed Tyreek Evans, Doug McDermott, Kyle O'Quinn during the offseason,
Good signings.
which I think are all
Really
solid
good signings,
signings
yeah.
to bolster their depth, which is some of the problems they've had. They also drafted Aaron Holiday, who's been looking pretty
Yeah.
good.
Their depth and experience were their 2 problems.
So I think they're really helping out their team.
Aaron
I think-
Holiday was a really good pickup.
I think they're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be a very notable team in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. So it'll be interesting, and I'm just curious what you guys think
of the
of
Pacers.
how far can they go?
They could be a 4 seed because they're deeper than Milwaukee right now, including Aaron Holiday and their new free agents. I think they're deeper than Milwaukee. They won't have to rely on the 2 guard for Indiana.
Oladipo?
Oladipo. Everything's slipping my mind today. They won't have to completely rely on Oladipo because they have good pieces. Bogdanovich is still with them, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played out of his mind in the playoffs. Miles Turner is coming back. He has more experience. Sabonis is playing really. They have a deep team.
One thing that I'm slightly worried about with Indiana is the same thing that was the downfall for the Milwaukee Bucks when they first made the playoffs with Giannis. They took a step back.
They have to
Detroit.
rely on Giannis.
Detroit, 15-16, everybody was talking about how they are going to be that next team to take the next step into the top 4 of the Eastern Conference. They fell off.
I think Detroit could
Indiana-
be a better team than Milwaukee, but we'll get to that later.
No, yeah, I agree with you too. But Indiana, they could take a step down just because of expectations. People are expecting them to be this top 4 team, this top 4 powerhouse now with LeBron gone. They might not be that team. Thaddeus Young is getting older. He's on the wrong side of 30.
I thought it was a mistake to re-sign him.
I think
I'll
he had
be
the player
honest.
option. I think he had the player option.
Oh,
to
was
opt in.
it?
Yeah, it was a player
Okay.
option. He's on the wrong side of 30. He's going to get big time minutes. Their role players, to me, are unproven. Kyle O'Quinn, he's iffy. I mean, you get the good with Kyle O'Quinn, but you also get the bad.
Tyreek Evans can be very iffy. at
Tyreek
times.
Evans, he had a really good year last year. I'll give him that. But he hasn't been consistent throughout his career. There's a
That'll
lot
be
of
an
ifs.
important thing too. I've talked about it before with Tyreek Evans. Is if Indiana will allow him to bring the ball up and be more of
I
a
think they
point
will.
guard than a shooting guard, because throughout his career he has proven that he's a better point guard than a shooting guard. He needs to have the ball in his hand better. He's not the greatest shooter to be sitting on the wing, to be like a conventional shooting guard. And he's always like, his rookie year in
He
Sacramento
averaged
was one of his
25
best
and
years,
5 playing point guard in
and he
Sacramento.
was the point guard.
Yeah.
And then last year, he got a lot of chances once Mike Conley went down to have the ball in his hands, and he played a lot better. So I think that's an important thing for Indiana to take into account.
One thing that I think Indiana's going to consider by the end of next season, and I wouldn't be shocked to see it happen,
Trade Darren Collison.
trade him maybe, but he's another guy on the wrong side of 30. He's getting older. His impact in the playoffs was not that well. He struggled against Cleveland.
Isn't he their starting point guard?
He is their starting
Yeah.
point guard.
Aaron Holiday might take his spot.
No, I think
at
it'll be
some point.
I think Tyreek Evans would be the guy.
Yeah.
Because you put Tyreek, who's what, 6'5", 6'6",
He's
probably.
a big guard.
He's a big guard. Put him next to Oladipo. All of a sudden, that backcourt's huge. If Tyreek is playing up to his Memphis level,
Right.
and that's when Indiana, I think, can get scary.
Yeah.
If you get the Tyreek Evans from Memphis last year,
Although Tyreek is very ball dominant, and he averaged those numbers in Sacramento and Memphis because he had nothing around him. He could do whatever he wanted.
But his assist numbers have gone
I
up,
haven't
too.
seen him play really good on a really good team yet.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
the
something
thing.
Tyreek Evans has to prove.
But I
agree
think
with
last
Malik.
year he proved that he can be a better passer now. And I think Oladipo has also become a better just spot-up shooter to be able to deal with Tyreek maybe handling more of the ball a little more often sometimes. But yeah, it's definitely a chemistry thing. It will be interesting to see how it works. I hope it works out because I like Tyreek
don't.
Evans. But
I'm
Well,
a Pistons fan. I
obviously-
don't.
right, no. I'm just
He
saying
hopes nothing else works out in the East.
Exactly. I
Everybody
want
loses
everybody to
every
lose
game.
every game and Pistons go 82-0.
But I kind of want to segue from, you guys kind of mentioned the Bucks. We spoke at the very beginning. The Bucks got Brooke Lopez.
That was a good move.
I think this is one of the biggest moves.
Way better than Dwight. Great option.
Go- to go
you
on-
cannot
go on to
tell
what you
me-
were saying, Joey.
We're not going to go into it.
Yeah.
But Brooke Lopez he struggled in LA a little bit, but he's a consistent guy. He's not who he was in
Stop
Brooklyn.
taking so many threes, Brooke.
He's not who
just
he
because
was.
you can shoot the three.
For the
Honestly, I
Nets.
think it might help Milwaukee just because Giannis can't shoot outside
Yeah,
the paint.
it definitely helps because he gives them an option to be able to stretch the floor. Obviously, he needs to improve his 3-point percentage, but he's shown that he can do it. He's, like I said, keep saying he's not what he was for the Nets. He's not that elite center that he used to be.
He shows flashes.
I still
though.
think he's
But-
a very good post player.
Yes.
Right.
He doesn't play like he used to.
And that's one of the things that the Bucks are lacking is an offensive big man for the most part.
One thing that I'm not very upset about, but I'm disappointed about. Brook Lopez is a piston killer. That dude roasts Andre Drummond every time they play, and now we got to play him 4 times a year.
Yeah.
But on that Brook Lopez front, I'm shocked the Lakers didn't pay him more money. They had at least $5.5 million to give. He signed for $3.55 to play in Milwaukee. Lopez would have been a great fit next to LeBron. He's a shooter. It seemed it was the perfect fit, and it just never came to be. And I wonder, what's your take on that? What do you think was the reason why the Lakers went away from Brook?
I don't know if the Lakers are just at this point scared to spend more money because they've already spent.
No. I guarantee you it's not about scared to spend money.
Because they want to wait till next summer now is like one of their biggest
But
things.
he's still signed for a 1-year deal.
Right.
If everything's on a 1-year deal, that's what they're looking for.
I'm assuming part of it is they may potentially put Mo Wagner in a more significant role. And they have so many good young guys. I don't know if there's a need for Brook Lopez necessarily.
I think
don't know.
JaVale McGee is a better center for this team.
Then Brook.
Because Brook didn't rebound enough. He didn't play good enough defense.
I wonder how JaVale would look if he got 35 minutes a night. Because in the short stints in Golden State, he looked good.
Yeah,
He
he's been
looked
efficient.
solid. Is he a changed guy from his Washington days? That's
oh,
what.
he's completely changed.
But
from
you're
that.
taking him out of that.
He's not a clown
But he's
anymore.
not. But he's taking out of that perfect situation in Golden State. That's just. Nobody else is like Golden State in the NBA. That's a perfect organization through and through. You're putting him in LA, an up and coming team. And it's the city of Los Angeles.
But they will be a run and gun team, so he fits into that mold pretty well.
I'm
Also,
not.
having LeBron and Rondo is going to make him a lot better too, because
I think
he's
that's-
going to know where he needs to be.
I think that
what
also
he needs to do
goes-
at all times because of them too.
I think
Good
that's
point.
also why they might not have went with Brook Lopez because they see this going to be an up and down team a lot, and they're not going to play
Showtime.
a ton in the half court. And I think that's where Brook Lopez would struggle. So maybe that's part of the thinking. But I don't know. I think the Bucks definitely had a good signing there. That helps their team. Obviously, the Bucks haven't played up to what everybody's expected them to be. So it'll be interesting to see if the Bucks can maybe take that next step. I still don't think they do. I don't know. The Bucks look like a 6 seed to me.
I think they need to trade Eric Bledsoe.
I don't think they mesh.
I don't think Bledsoe is the point guard for that team.
I don't either.
And I think he's overrated.
You know who would be a perfect point guard for that team? George Hill back in his Indiana days. When he was with the Indiana Pacers, starting with Paul George, he would have been perfect. Spot up shooter, not going to try to beat you off the dribble very often. Let Giannis do all the ball handling. Giannis needs somebody that's just going to stretch the floor and is able to make plays when they need to count.
Bledsoe is a guy that wants to drop to the rim just as much as Giannis.
And he's ball dominant just
Yeah.
like Giannis as well. There's a lot of I like Budenholzer. We all know I'm the captain of his fan club. I love that guy. But I think there's some personnel moves they need to make before they kind of make that jump into the top 4.
Another big thing, too, about the East is kind of the 76ers, who are potentially the second best team in the East, trying to fight for that first spot over the Celtics. But they did a pretty big trade, and they got Wilson Chandler from the Nuggets, which fills the hole of needing a 3. I think this is a pretty good pickup for them.
Wilson's
And-
got to stay healthy, though. He
Right.
struggled with injuries.
That's a big question. I think the Sixers are looking pretty good. Some of their young guys are impressing me. I don't know if you guys saw
Furkan Korkmaz.
Korkmaz
40
scored
in his
40
first
points.
game,
Yeah.
and nothing much since. But that 40 was nice.
He looked confident, though, in that game,
Oh,
too.
extremely.
So, I don't know. The Sixers are going to be interesting for a while. They're definitely right there with the Celtics. Celtics obviously will take number 1 as long as they can mesh well because obviously the talent is there.
Dude, it's honestly, to me, it's so nice to have a wide open Eastern Conference. No LeBron James cloud over us. I mean, Boston might not be the number 1 seed. You could see Philly grab it. You could
Yeah.
see a team like Toronto. Honestly, I'm iffy on Toronto.
Yeah.
To be fair, but Indiana could be a 1 seed.
But even last year, like it was thought to be pretty open until we got to the playoffs and LeBron showed up.
That's
Like
what I'm saying.
going into the season,
you can
everybody was like, there was no LeBron cloud. You're like, this might be the year that LeBron doesn't make it out of the East,
But of course he did.
and he made it.
All I have to say about the East is seeing Boston versus Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals for the next 4 years is going to be great.
You mean Boston versus Detroit?
Let's
High
segue-
hopes.
Do we want to segue into that?
High hopes.
Do we want to segue into where?
Let's skip Zaza and just talk about
Whoa,
something
whoa,
else.
whoa! We are not skipping.
Don't you say that phrase.
The Detroit Pistons did make a move this week, guys. Malik's probably his favorite move this week. They signed the Kawhi stopper. So if Kawhi gets traded
This
to
man
Philly,
calls
I
Zaza
know.
the Kawhi stopper,
I
but
know.
hates Dwight.
no.
Go on.
So first of all, Zaza.
Chris is on a different level today.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Zaza.
his takes aren't so hot.
No.
He has some
Zaza
freezing takes
is
today.
apparently a better defender than Dwight because he took out Kawhi for a whole series. I'm just saying. I'll leave that there.
Did
but-
he really?
You don't remember that when Zaza kind of like inched his leg over
Oh,
underneath
injured
Kawhi
him.
and injured him? We have the Kawhi
That's what he
stopper.
mean- that's what he
I mean.
means.
That's what I mean by the Kawhi stopper.
Yeah.
He injured Kawhi and it was a shady move.
Get this go. We should have kept Aaron Baines. Get Zaza out of Detroit.
We should have kept. That
man.
was a misplay by Detroit, giving him a team option.
So now let's
Oh,
look at
man.
Detroit's signings this offseason. Glenn Robinson III,
Solid.
great, solid
Yeah.
pickup. Jose Calderon. Okay, we're going downhill. Zaza Pachulia. Okay, we're at the
Yeah.
bottom of the barrel.
Stop it. Zaza's
Pistons
solid.
fans get excited.
What are
Zaza's solid.
What are we doing?
I disagree with you.
Zaza doesn't have basketball talent.
He hasn't played in like
Zaza-
2 or 3 years.
Zaza can
He was a starting center 2 years ago.
He just
Zaza can be
rides the
tough
bench.
and catch
yeah,
a
he
basketball.
started and then he sat the bench the rest of the game.
No, that was the start of this year you're thinking of.
It's like
Zaza
every
can
year.
make layups. He can hit like
He-
3 mid-range jumpers every
He can
2
get you
weeks.
6 fouls a game.
And he does do solid screens. He's a good vet. They need more veteran leadership with Anthony Tolliver gone.
You think he's a veteran
Zaza
leader?
isn't leader. He's not
Guarantee
leading
you,
anybody.
that's what they're bringing him in for.
I don't think so.
Also,
They have Blake Griffin.
Not much of a leader either.
Yeah.
And neither is Andre Drummond.
Reggie Jackson. No, but the move was it was financially made because if they kept Eric Moreland, they would have been pushing the luxury tax. By waiving Moreland, signing Zaza, they're right under that luxury tax, and they can still sign Kyrie Thomas, their second round pick, to a deal. It was strictly financial. This move.
There
Do you
was
have
no
an-
other bigger man.
That's what I'm
big men
saying.
out
Do you
there?
have another backup center that you want?
I don't look at the bottom of the barrel to know who's out there, but
Zaza maybe is that
if you,
bottom.
if you could give me a list, I could probably find a couple guys better.
I could probably find at least 5 guys.
I don't
better.
believe it. No, I think it'll be okay. I mean, it's not a flashy signing, but I like to know when LeBron's acting up and he's doing really good. He puts Zaza in the game. LeBron jumps up for a jump shot. Zaza just puts his ankle out there.
We're gonna have to play LeBron twice?
If we see him in the finals,
Maybe.
if we see him in the
Zaza's
finals.
had one quality year when he averaged. I think he averaged 10 and 10 for the Mavericks. Didn't he
Oh
average
yeah,
10 and
remember
10?
when he was almost
He was
an
almost an
all-star?
all-star. Yeah.
Come on,
Was that during the Mavericks?
That was the
I
Mavericks.
thought it was
season.
the
And
Bucks.
It was the
both.
Mavericks.
It was both. It was
'Cause he was pretty
Mavericks.
good with the Bucks.
It was the only year I
Oh,
supported
not Bucks,
Zaza.
not Bucks. Mavericks and
Hawks.
Golden State. He
Hawks
was also,
he was with Hawks at
but
first.
Golden State, he was actually voted in as an all-star, but that was the year they did change the
Oh yeah,
rules.
that was
Yeah.
cheesy though.
No, it was.
That was the fans
I agree with you.
being dumb.
No, for sure.
Where
so
do
you
the
guys-
Pistons go from here?
Where do they go? I mean, they have nowhere else to go.
If they
they're-
stay healthy.
With the so that's my
If
big
they
question is
stay healthy.
with the East, I feel that a lot of people in the East, a lot of the top teams have been improving their teams, maybe by smaller margins than obviously the Western Conference teams. But I think they're improving their teams. Where do the Pistons fall in this whole shifting of the Eastern Conference?
It would make sense to me if they were between 5 and 7. That would make the most sense. But with Detroit, you have no idea. You really can't tell. I hope that they get a 5 seed, and it seems like they should.
You guys want me to break
Andre
this down?
Drummond and Blake Griffin, Luke Kennard could have a breakout second year.
If Dwayne
Reggie
Casey
Jackson,
plays Luke Kennard, which I'm hoping,
which he will.
I'm
Dwayne
hoping.
He
Casey
plays
will
his
play
young
him.
guys. He plays
Yeah.
OG and started them.
He trusted all his rookies in
Hey.
Toronto when they showed up.
Pascal Siakam.
I'm just saying,
No, he's different than Stan
I'm
Van.
hopeful
But let me break the.
for Luke.
You guys want me to break this down? How the Pistons are going to be a 3 seed in the NBA?
Joey,
I'm
are you ready?
I'm interested.
Are
I'm
you
not ready,
prepared?
but I'm
All right.
interested.
Best case scenario: if you're a Detroit Pistons fan and the Detroit Pistons, they have 2 All-Star players, a borderline All-Star when healthy, Reggie Jackson, The second best 3-point shooter in the NBA by percentage, that's Reggie Bullock. A rookie stud that's still improving, Luke Kennard. Solid bench. The Kawhi stopper.
I don't know about
it.
it.
It was a joke. It was a joke. I'm just throwing
Kawhi
it in
stopper
there.
T-shirts coming soon. Look in the stores.
I didn't need them. They have the reigning coach of the year that has won 50 plus 3 straight seasons. That's huge. You can't tell me if this whole team stays healthy. LeBron's out of the Eastern Conference. They don't have to play him.
They should be a 4 or 5 seed.
They can win 50 games.
They could.
I don't
if
think
they're
their depth.
healthy.
They could.
I don't think
Best
their depth.
case scenario.
I feel like you're giving their depth too much credit.
I think Stanley's still improving.
If Dwayne Casey can bring
something out of Stanley.
Yeah. Stanley has it in. I don't know what it is
And here's
about the NBA game. He doesn't look comfortable playing basketball when he's playing like in the NBA regular season, which is very weird.
Here's another thing.
It's like he doesn't know what to do.
Another thing that I think people forget. We had Ish Smith starting a lot at point guard. When
Right.
Ish is leading that second unit, that's huge. He's that running gun tempo point guard. If the starters stay healthy, like my best case scenario is predicting, they have a solid bench for next year. They're a deep team with a great coach, 2 All-Stars and 1 borderline in a weak Eastern Conference. They can win 50 games.
It
and be a
sounds
3
good
seed.
on paper.
I just don't trust their depth. That's my.
It's a-
No, I
that's
understand
my
neither do
that.
I.
biggest
That's why I'm
thing.
saying it's a best case scenario if they're healthy.
Right. But that's why I keep saying.
Can you agree? Can you agree with my best case scenario if they're healthy? Can you see that?
You're saying that they're a
50 win 3 seed.
I can't see it. I can't see them being better than the Raptors or the Pacers.
If Spencer Dinwiddie was still here, I'd say automatic.
I miss
And
Spencer.
potentially
He waited until Brooklyn.
the Bucks if they figure something out.
Honestly,
I think the Bucks are gonna
To me,
not
we should
figure
be.
it out.
To me, we should be better than the Bucks.
the Pistons outplayed the Pacers last year. They won 3 out of 4. They match up well against them.
Well, that's if they're playing each other.
They play each other 4 times a year. That's big, especially when it comes to playoff seeding.
I've seen the Pistons beat the Wizards
Pacers
once
are a
in the
different team.
past.
The Wizards, that's a different story.
The
Those guys.
the game where they got into the playoffs a few years ago was where they beat the
that was
Wizards.
an exciting game.
That's the last time I remember. I've never seen them beat Washington at Washington ever in my life.
Dwight Howard versus Andre Drummond.
That's
a good
easy.
matchup.
What a matchup!
Easy.
That's a good matchup.
No, but what's your guys' expectation for the team next year? We all know I'm high on them. I'm a not bandwagon. I'm a diehard Pistons fan, so I'm going to get hype about the next season and hope for that best case scenario. But I'll let Joey and his pessimistic views take over. But more realistic views.
Yeah, thank you. Real.
What you got, Joe?
I see them being a 6 to 8 seed. Maybe I might agree with Malik and maybe get up to the 5 seed. But like I said, I just don't trust their depth. I know Chris is thinking best case scenario. I'm thinking what actually might happen. But I'm just a little bit nervous about their depth. Obviously, Cleveland isn't going to be in the playoffs this year. Well, you never know. I still think if they keep Kevin Love, they can maybe sneak it. Because the eighth seed in the East is so weird, is what I'm saying.
No, but if you take Cleveland out of the 8th seed or Cleveland out of the playoff picture last year, the Pistons make it as the 8th seed. So you
Right.
can't tell me that Cleveland's better than.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Cleveland falls out of the playoffs, the Pistons will move up. The Heat, I don't think are going to be as good.
Charlotte's a team to watch
They're
just
declining.
because whether they move Kemba or not, if they go with the full youth movement.
Charlotte's getting into rebuild mode now.
Charlotte's
I
that
think
team
so
that
too, but
Yeah.
if they still have Kemba, they're still going to be competitive.
Charlotte's that team every year that I think
Kinda.
they're going to make it over the hump, and they just never do.
Yeah,
So
I don't think they're not going to get over.
I've
it.
somewhat given up.
They don't have enough.
They, especially losing Dwight Howard, like they're going to be
That's
lack
not a
of-
huge blow. Let
a
me
lack
tell you
of
that
big
right
men.
now.
He was the second best player on that team.
They have a
last
lack of big men now.
Nicholas Batum?
year. No, Dwight was better.
Malik, you're falling under the impression of
Dwight
stat sheet
was
stuffing.
better.
Dwight has you under his tricks. He stuffs the stat sheet to think he's a good player.
I'm trying to think when Chris was talking about stats before, talking about triple doubles and stuff.
Yeah, that
and
is
that's,
true.
That's
Joey,
when,
but
and
I'll
that's
be
when I
honest.
was saying that you
I'll-
can't always look into stats.
I'll be honest. Joey turned me on the triple double idea that's actually a good stat.
And I think a lot of people are starting to feel that
Yeah.
way too. They're
Especially
starting to
since
notice
last
that.
year Russell did it again. And it's more just stat sheet stuffing.
But I mean, Marcin Gortat doesn't have a 30-30 game
He never will because he's retiring.
When
soon,
was the last
but
Dwight Howard 30-30 game?
last season.
Did he actually have one last year?
Yeah, jeez, man.
Come on, Chris.
I forgot about
That's-
that one. Holy
remember
shit.
what?
Oh yeah, was it
remember
in
what
Brook-
happened?
Was it Brooklyn? Was it
Historic.
in
Yeah,
Brooklyn?
It was in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Historic night.
There's a lot of stuff going on. All right, guys. I'm still not sold on Dwight Howard.
Anyway.
We should just name this episode the Dwight Howard saga.
Anyway, I think the Pistons can get the 6th seed. I don't know if they can move up. The Bucks is an interesting one, like Malik was kind of saying. If they can get past the
They
Bucks,
could either really improve with Mike Budenholzer, or they could slide down in the first year with him as coach.
yeah.
Because
And
the
the
players
Wizards,
don't want to.
the Wizards are a question too because I think they got better, but you still don't know how that's going to mesh necessarily.
Exactly.
And John Wall being hurt most of the season last year will be interesting. So the Pistons, they're going to be right with the Bucks and the Wizards, fighting for that 6, 7, maybe 5,
Knocking on the door of those Pacers and Raptors.
maybe. Anyway, Malik, what's your thoughts?
I'm giving the Pistons 43 to 48 wins
48. I'll take 48.
in that area.
I could see 48.
If it goes bad and
Blake
Dwayne
misses
Casey has a lot of work to do with this team because they don't gel, I could see 43, 42 wins, and they look solid at times. If it goes well, 48 wins, and you're a solid 5 or 6 seed, and people have hope in the team.
If you're a 48, I don't think you're a 16 at 48 wins. I think like 5 seeds probably that.
That'll probably slide them in 4 or 5.
Yeah.
4 if they got lucky. That's best case scenario to be
Yeah.
48. I don't see them hitting 50.
I don't either.
That'd be
I hope they
awesome.
do, but I don't see it.
Because I think the Celtics and the Sixers are going to take so many of those wins.
Oh yeah,
That's going to be hard.
Boston might hit 60 this year. It's a serious.
That's possible.
As long as they mesh,
yeah.
as long as they mesh, and as long as they're healthy, they definitely could.
I think they'll hit 60, and I think Philly might get a good 51, maybe.
Well, they won 52 this year, right?
Yeah,
They won 52. Oh,
Yeah.
I think so.
I forgot they won over 50
But
games.
the thing with Philly, you got to remember too, is them taking maybe a step back because they're still super young, and Joel Embiid injury concerns are still there regardless of how he was last year.
Joel Embiid get better. They got JJ back. They got Dario. I'm not worried.
Lost Marco, lost Ursa on them. Two
Got
big
Wilson.
losses.
Losing Marco,
Got Wilson Chandler,
losing Marco hurts because he hit some big time.
but they
shots.
did get Amir Johnson back, which
Yeah.
I think is actually pretty big.
He's
help.
on
kinda
He's
trash.
really on the bad side of 30.
I was
He's
just
on
like,
the
yeah.
worst side, getting them checks.
Hey, fair enough. Well, that's our show, fellas. I mean, we still had a lot more stuff we could have gotten into. We didn't even really touch on Summer League, but that's still going on. Pistons looking for that victory in Vegas, trying to bring a championship to the Motor City. We'll get that banner in LCA. It'd be nice. Any final thought, Joey? Any hot takes?
Joey,
Do I have any hot takes?
Do you have a hot take to lead us into the next week? You got like 30 seconds.
Into next week. Kevin Love gets traded.
Ooh, I like it. Any team? You got a
Very hot
prediction
take.
team? You got a team predicted? Come on, you got to be specific. You got to sound smart if you get it right.
Oh, I'm going to go with Stephen A. Smith saying Portland.
I like it.
I kinda like that
can see it,
idea.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, good stuff. Good show here. We got a lot of stuff we'll break down next week. Summer League will be in a wrap next week. We'll have more free agency, more trades to talk about. We'll see you next week. See ya.
Bye.
Duncan Robinson over Marcin Gortat every day.
Yes.